Hello, and welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. I'm kicking things off right at time tonight because I got a special hour interview to bring out, put out. I have kind of put it out there that I've been working on what's the right night. When does Upland not have a lot of announcements? When can we find that hole in the schedule to make it all work? And tonight's the night. So I've been looking forward to the opportunity to share the interview. It was an opportunity that I don't have every day to talk to somebody who has a hard time making the 10:30 time slot work or the 10:30 Eastern time slot work. Know a lot of people in that position, so we have to kind of work around schedules, make pre-recorded work, and then of course be able to share that pre-record in a way that people are going to be able to access and watch. And of course, the easiest way to do that, YouTube and Twitter with a recorded video. We're going to be able to take a look at people review long term, and B, we can make this a live experience as well. I'm going to be sharing the video tonight with a little bit of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 twist, running the video, running the interview, and then obviously being a part of the background. If there's questions, if there's comments, if there's things that come up during the interview, I definitely am going to be able to answer those questions if they come up, if people are asking them. I'm going to be able to jump in and stop the video if there's questions in some parts. Maybe I'll emphasize something along the way. But again, it was a great opportunity to speak with somebody who's actually a front end developer. We talk about layer twos and the value of layer twos, and the fact that there's different qualities of different layer twos, different levels of dedication or availability of time for people to put into their projects. Block Raiders has been one that I actually have a couple dedicated developers on the back end, making sure the integration with the API works, making sure the mapping from Upland works, make sure the assets that we have in Upland show up well in the game. But then you have somebody whose actual specialty or specialization for the last 15 years has been in the Unreal Engine, building the front end, make everything look good and work well, and make it actually feel like a cohesive and strategic game that can be played in the 3D space, that can look like maybe not a AAA, but look like it's a real standout, like it's a well produced, mass-produced game. And that's what we have with Block Raiders. It's something that has been done with a little bit of trial and error. Going through and building out, does this system work? No, we're going to actually move into Unreal. Now that it's Unreal, we're going to have to go and build to the point of playtest, which they built up to the point of playtest. And then beyond playtest, you get into the alpha, and that's where they are now. We can talk a little bit about the alpha in that interview. That was something that we're looking to be able to talk about. The closed alpha now, it is open for public to get into, so that's going to be part of what we'll see there here at the end. As far as if you're interested, there is a open closed. I love that. Open closed alpha in that you have to apply to get in. Open in that just about anybody who puts in an application says, "Hey, I have a PC. Hey, I'd love to play test. I'm willing to report bugs if I have them." Done deal, and you're into a closed alpha opportunity to find those bugs, identify them exist. You'll hear in the interview that the most of them have been caught, but identify them that they exist, and of course, have response and have input as far as what you'd like to see, or it could be done different, or if you have any specific ideas that you think are going to make the game better. And of course, it's a day in Upland, so I do have to touch a little bit of Upland before we get going. We did have, I wouldn't call it the official. And this is me. This is not Upland. I'm going to call it the official first day of Sparklet in a real and true and meaningful way. Not that it's the first time we've seen Sparklet show up in anyone's account. Not that it's the first time that we've had the language Sparklet out there. Hey, more cheese. Good to see you. Not that it is anything that Upland's officially saying, hey, yay, Sparklet. It's that we are going through the Sparklet transition right now from Spark to Sparklet. Everyone has Sparklet in their account right now. A lot of if there was issues or errors up front, they've been cleaned up by now. There's a couple things that are being updated as they go, but you are able to actually stake the Sparklet to build and resume construction, and people are able to start their factories back up or have their factories start being producing once again. So Sparklet's actually in action in the game. People are claiming treasures in treasure hunts and seeing them award in the nominations of Sparklet. So 10 Sparklet as opposed to 0.01 Spark. That's what people are getting in those tier 5 cities with with the treasure hunts and getting a chest that has sparklet in it. So it is officially sparklet season. We're officially in sparklet in the game of Upland. And with that, that means that there might be a couple things that happened in the transition. We'll go over those real quick, and then we'll get on to that interview. But for tonight, because I have an interview, because I have a guest, I do want to make it very clear up front. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. They shouldn't be taken as financial or game strategy advice. Guests or contributors who we do have on, they have their own opinion. They're welcome to them. I'd love to be able to share them or help them share their opinions, but they shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. One of these days, Goldie is going to turn around and play that piano. If I move just right, ka-chow, move just right, you can see that's not the real background. But yeah, one of these days I will play piano. I do have a keyboard in the house. Do not have a beautiful baby grand like that one in the back there in my house. Some people are lucky. Some people make that a passion or make that a key point in their life. Not one of mine at this point, but yes, a baby grand would be gorgeous in the background if it was actually there. But let's get into the here's quick announcements. And anybody who's popping into the Upland Cafe, I do want to say this. I am here live in voice for the quick portion of the show with going over the news. But we do have, and would need to get into YouTube and Twitter tonight, or to watch the video or watch the video on Twitter, watch the video on YouTube, as we will be having a special guest interview that was conducted, recorded, and only can be shared as far as the video and the audio properly are concerned on YouTube. And that's what we'll, or YouTube or Twitter, and we'll see that about 5 minutes, 10 minutes from now, we'll get that interview started. So easy enough to get over there get over there to YouTube or to Twitter feed to see those video, to see the video up, to see the feed up now. Perfect. We'll see you there, Blue. And God, same thing. Easy enough to see over there. Over here, unfortunately, we won't be able to share the pre-recorded interview in the same way. All right, announcements, and I want to share it. Officially speaking, announcements are 0 today. We do have that live update, culminating and capping off and finishing up our announcements of what's going on with the Spark transition since it's happened. Technically speaking, the Spark transition window does extend into tomorrow. There's some small things that are being cleaned up, yes, but in the meantime, just everything that was promised to be done with Spark that's kind of gone through. We take a quick look here. Manufacturing, construction, treasures, rewards, functionality are all enabled now with Sparklet. So you can use your Sparklet. Your Sparklet balances were updated as of yesterday, but now they're fully usable. Your Sparklet balance should be 1,000 times what your Spark balance is. And again, people have gone, tested, taken a look. The team has gone back and tested that the transition happened properly. If you think you have an error in your personal transition, go ahead and shoot Upland an email in Tech Bugs, or put a message in Tech Buds, or send an email to support, because everything should be good and good to go now. God, good to see you here in YouTube now. So above and beyond that, obviously the Sparklet streak bonuses, they're now enabled. They're now fixed. We're able to log in for that login bonus. You do miss a day. So that day period where there was no ability to get into the login, that's gone. It's a missed day. So you pick up a day later. You left off at 3 days. Now you're at 3 days. Now you're checking for your 4th day. You lost a day in that cycle, but you didn't lose the streak. And of course, as I mentioned before, losing a day or two here of productivity in some of the elements of Upland, very much worth the transition, very much worth the benefit. And that benefit, short-term, mid-term, long-term, is that now we have the Sparklet, which is going to become the token that's exchangeable again on multiple exchanges potentially. Again, no game strategy advice, no speculation. It's not coming immediately. We know that. We know that the Upland said likely or possibly later in the summer. And then, of course, with Sparklet, we know there's going to be utility in Layer 2. We've talked about it a couple of times. I am very, very excited about Layer 2 implications of Sparklet. There's many ways that multiple ecosystems can use it. So it's going to really be something that I can't wait for it to actually be unlocked, to be able to be exchanged outside of Upland. It's going to really change some of the dynamics of what people can do with Upland even. Some of the developers and some of the incentives for developers are going to change, and new developers coming in, they're going to see it as, again, a token that is technically a crypto that is open and easily exchangeable. That's going to bring some developers that don't currently exist into the layer 2 ecosystem. It's also going to take some developers in the layer 2 ecosystem and allow them, with projects they already have built, to leverage those projects in a different way for monetization for themselves, but also for gamification for people who are using them. So very much looking forward to it. This is part of that process. And then otherwise, I do like to call this out every week, every Wednesday, community live stream by the one and only Light It Up Dan. Doing those live streams, not seen the same way with Upwind as a staff member in the community manager's role, where we're seeing him back and forth in the community manager's role. But these live streams have been great because it gives an opportunity to have somebody from the team or somebody working with Upwind put out these streams, have some interaction with audience, the people go and enjoy themselves. But the highlight has been layer 2 projects, going and playing in these layer 2 ecosystems, showing off these new things that are coming into Upland. And it's kind of one of those symbiotic things where Upland is promoting community and promoting itself and promoting its new feature. But ultimately, these showcases are very impactful and they're helpful to get eyes where they need to be, and that's on the projects that nobody knows exist yet, bringing the new projects into Upland and bringing the eyes to those projects. That's Track Hero. We already have talked about it a couple times. So Track Hero is officially live. It was put into the playthrough in a community live stream today with Light It Up Dan. Go take a look if you haven't had a chance to take a look. Go and take a look. It gives you a more understanding of what the game looks like, what the interaction is in the game. There's a lot of camels, a lot of jumping. I think there's some glue spots in there, some holes in the track, some fun stuff there. Some of the more features are still coming as far as Spark staking. Oh, no, Spark. Wow. As far as competitive wagering with OpEx, and then we'll see more game modes and tournaments and things like that build up in the future. But right now, it's a 3D environment like a cafe. You can race. You can spectate races by being in the area, but not choosing to be part of the race. So it's kind of interesting. And it is a new form, a new function in the game of Upland. So it's nice to see those highlights for those new forms, those new functions. And with that, that's about what we had in the game of Upland today. That's about what our announcements are and our updates. And it is plenty. It is plenty because we are in the middle of this transition over a couple of days that we know that the team was focusing on making Spark into Sparklet. We know the team was focusing on making sure that it happened correctly and avoiding, if there were issues, avoiding issues, and if there were issues, correcting them as soon as possible. So with all that, I didn't expect anything major from the team for surprises. But in that time period, it's a great opportunity to look at what we have in the game of Upland that we haven't had a chance to see, with all these announcements and all these surprises and all of these, a focus on Genesis season or Genesis week or this new feature that came out. So I want to go back and look at some layer 2s. Like I try to highlight them when I get a chance. I try to get these interviews when I get a chance. So this interview obviously is with Math. Math was brought in as a layer 2 developer or developer into a layer 2 ecosystem that already had that experience in essentially the modding community, building that on the Unreal 8 engine for previous games and having experience that way. Again, all the way back into Unreal 3, I believe. So a few generations back, continuing to work with it over the last 15 years, and that being his specialty. Being brought in after Block Raiders run the hackathon in 2023 and ultimately working on the front end of things. Well, there's people who already have experience with Upland or a lot more experience with working with Upland's APIs, people who are more back-end developers, to build those things out, to make sure that the API works correctly and that the map data is pulled correctly and that things can be shown with decent fidelity that would otherwise exist in the game of Upland and being brought over into a layer 2 game, which makes the layer 2 map in Block Raiders a lot of fun. Like, I'd love to see it in more and more games. To use that API data, do some fidelity or do some If you want to do modifications. If you want to stylize, but do something that really ties it to the look and the feel of Upland. So when you're in it, it feels almost native to the ecosystem. You want to make a little bit of a change to it. You want to make it spooky. You want to do vibrant colors. Go right ahead. But like I said, I like the idea that the visual tie to the map of Upland. If there's an apartment at 123 Spring Street in, I don't know, 123 Spring Street in Fresno, and you go and you do a Block Raiders in Fresno, you're going to see at 123 Spring Street, there is an Upland style apartment building there. I do like that a lot. And we will see a lot of that through the playthrough, because there is this playthrough. But I started the interview with a little bit of introduction, so I don't want to give too much from here. I do want to just say that it was a great interview. I'm going to kind of sit back and let the interview happen, with a caveat that we are Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. I may be able to stop and jump in, especially if there's questions, especially if things pop up and I want to give context, realizing that I went a weird direction at some point. We'll see if we have those moments I need to jump in on. But of course, easy, quick, and let's get this started. Stop that share screen. Come on down here. Let's get that video file pulled up, and let's take a look here. Man, this is the Goldsmith special interview. I'm recorded, so I don't know how I'm going to get this out there, but I'm going to get this out there. Either record later on, or we'll sneak it into an episode. But we do have to work with time zones and people's time, and I just wanted to make this interview happen as best as I could, to the degree I could, and when I could, and that was to bring in Block Raiders in a new way. Now that Block Raiders is in the closed alpha to the point where they're still looking at bringing new people in and expanding the space. And we're at the point where we finally see a product with Block Raiders that people can get in and start interacting with. And to start the quick vamp, the quick introduction of Block Raiders, obviously Block Raiders was a 2023 Hackathon winner in innovation. We do see that in the last year we've seen integrations with Block Raiders has been something that hasn't yet happened. We're working on that happening in the not so distant future. But what we have seen is we have a playable alpha that is out now. We have a couple of things that are being expanded for game modes. And the best person, or probably one of the best people to talk to about Block Raiders, what the immediate future is, and where Block Raiders is right now, is a developer brought in specifically to help build out Unreal. Math comes from a background of essentially build yourself, learn yourself, hobbyist with Unreal, spending 15 years, gaining those skills, growing those skills, and being selected and brought into the team after winning that hackathon in 2023 to, again, build out the development team with some more of the direct Unreal skills, more of the experience to really make Block Raiders what it's become in the last couple of weeks. Again, it's been out for alpha about 3 weeks now. What we've really seen is very much a love letter to Upland, but at the same time, really knowing what can be built and what can be designed and what can be done in the Unreal Engine. And Math, thank you for what you've done. And I guess is that a decent intro? Does that bring you in here? Tell me a little bit what I missed.
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Oh, Canada. There you go.
Yeah, Canadian, of course.
I don't have my maple syrup shot. I apologize.
Oh, we are pretty famous for that maple syrup.
Well, second best maple syrup in the world. Absolutely. After Vermont, you can have the second best.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? No, yeah. No. Besides the fact that you have the second best maple syrup, I do appreciate the fact that you're coming on today. Again, background here, you built your skills, again, on a hobbyist basis with Unreal over the last 15 years. Tell me a little bit about what that journey's been like. What brought you to Unreal? What makes it a platform where you feel like, again, you want to be building?
Right. Well, it all started, like you said, 15 years ago. I've been using the Unreal mostly because that's the one I picked up first, kind of by accident. Because what got me to game dev was Gears of War 1. It came with the UDK, which was the Unreal Engine 3 editor, so you could make new maps for it, new mods and whatnot. So that's when I kind of started exploring that, and I guess I just stuck with the Unreal Engine because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, ever since that touched it, I just never gave it up.
Mhm. And that's great. And so and again, I know that you started with Unreal, about 15 years ago. I know that one of the things that helped get you discovered, or anyways got eyes on you for, excuse me, for jumping in with Block Raiders, was, I know you started with a YouTube channel a number of years ago where you're
Yes.
just playing with Unreal, doing some instructions, kind of putting some information out. Tell me a little bit what that's been like, how you started, or what your ideas were with trying to develop or put videos out, anyways, for Unreal.
Well, the YouTube channel's been kind of a roller coaster. It's been uh, it's been rough sometimes, being consistent, uploading videos, not getting a whole lot of views, getting
Uh-huh.
discouraged, picking it up again. Especially since I'm somebody who doesn't talk a whole lot, and
Hmm.
in my real life, I'm a very, very quiet guy. So, making videos required quite a bit of effort from me.
Yeah.
But I love teaching at the same time, which is a bit contradictory. So, I saw kind of a gap in the market there. Vehicles are a bit of an untapped potential in the Unreal
Hmm.
Engine. There isn't a whole lot of people making content for them. And so that's how I grew my audience, really.
Yeah, I love that you brought vehicles up, because that's something Upland could use a little help with.
Yeah,
The
we've got the hoverboard right now, but
Yeah.
uh, we'll
Eh,
see.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see. We'll see.
We're open for suggestions,
Yeah.
which is kind of a big deal with the closed alpha as well, which
Mhm.
I suppose we could call an open alpha at that point, because we're actively looking for more people to join in and give us feedback and,
I
you
guess
know.
it's a closed alpha, so long as you have to turn on each individual, right? I mean, that still makes it a
Right.
closed alpha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So as of right now, you have an open forum. You have the ability for people to come in, and here we go. Watch this. Oh yeah, for people to come in and apply. It'd be a lot easier if it's a little clickable button, but look at that. Look at that link,
I've
right?
actually never seen that form since I haven't had to use it, but you can thanks the Jacques for that.
This is the Jacques form. We'll call it the Jacques
Yeah.
form. Yeah, well, she's been the one who's been putting people on or adding people to the list, anyways, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the form is up right now. Again, if you have interest in getting in, we'll take a look in a minute at Block Raiders and all that it is at the moment. But if you have interest in getting in, taking a look, actually being able to play around with the form, and here it is, easy enough to get added in. If you want to write it down, I'll try to get a clickable link in the description. But registration's open now. Obviously, you go through. Currently, you're only on Windows as far as the alpha is concerned right now. Yes.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't think that was a question. Yeah, alpha is kind of a early stage of development. Usually,
Yep.
is what an alpha is. Meaning
Yep.
we're still figuring out what
Yeah.
kind of game modes we want, what kind of
Yeah.
features,
Yeah.
testing for bugs and stuff. So it's really not the time to spread yourself across 5 different platforms and have bugs for each of them that you need to chase down. And so
Different
right
bugs
now
for each
we're
platform. Yeah.
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 And so yeah, right now we're just developing on Windows because that's
Mhm.
what most of the team has. But once we get out of alpha and we have a stable game with all the game modes and the feature we want, we do plan on releasing it for Mac, iOS, Android, all of
Perfect.
that good stuff so that everybody can play it.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, iOS and Android will be big, but I know we have to get through an alpha stage, or then you're just throwing out a product that is going to have bugs left and right. People can't actually use. It's crashing half the time. So I do
Yeah.
appreciate that you're developing the project, making sure you have a working product, so that you can
Yeah.
actually adapt it to multiple ecosystems. So it's
Yeah.
as of right
And
now,
it's
Windows.
oh,
If you want to participate, if you have a Windows computer, ta-da! Here's your opportunity to do so. Again, it is a closed alpha, so you do have to, as well as it's Epic, right? Is where the downloads coming through, so you do have to have an Epic
yes,
ID.
absolutely.
That's easy enough to set up, but again, if you played enough games, you probably have an Epic ID. And then otherwise, from there, that's just a process. I think it goes to the Jack. The Jack goes through, reviews them probably every day, knowing her. probably
Yeah.
more than once a day, knowing her. And then that group is having the opportunity to go in, play the game that's live currently. And I think the only thing is that it's a small enough pool that it's almost hard to get someone to play against,
Yeah.
short of, making those decisions ahead of time, deciding or talking to somebody, deciding on what their availability is going to be and working from there. But otherwise, I think it's a lot of play testing against yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have, like you say, enough people to really just have people online all the time
Mhm.
that you can play with.
Yeah.
That's something we're working on. Of course, the whole point of the game is to have as many players as possible. So we'll get
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. And all I want to do is I want to pop up the screen to take a quick look at it. And again, as we talk about a couple things and pop this up, just first and foremost, again, you were brought on after 2023. When did you come into with the team?
Well, I knew Slav before
Yep.
the hackathon, a
Mhm.
couple months before, so he's been telling me about it. And I've been kind of advising him in the background. And as
So are
soon
you
as
the
they,
reason why he took it towards Unreal then? Because I remember
yeah,
originally they were looking at what what do we want to develop on? What's the platform? How are we going to build it? And I remember I think that it was directly into Unreal when he started seeing the acrobatics that he could do on Unreal
yeah,
as opposed to looking elsewhere. And I think that was kind of what sold them on it.
yeah.
And then not to mention hoverboards.
That came in later. That was a pleasant
Oh yeah.
surprise for them.
Yeah, they're like, wow, we can do this. You can do this. I know they got really excited when that was an
Yeah.
opportunity. So
I kind of threw that in there without asking anybody because
oh, that was your idea? Just
upland maps are kind of flat. You can only run around in the street,
yeah.
and I really wanted to add a third dimension to it, since we've got the opportunity because this isn't browser game.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be able to climb on top of the building and fly around and do some acrobatics, and so I just threw it in there and waited for somebody to notice.
All right. There we get that one there. Let's see if I can do this. Oh my gosh, I think I can. If I can get it to work and move over here. Or maybe there we go. There we go. That soft border, hard border was taking me a second to get pulled up. But I do have the game pulled up, obviously. First and foremost, what are we looking at as we jump into the main screen here? Obviously, I do have downloaded the launcher now. Thank you for helping me do that. Now I have the most updated version up. And what am I looking at? This is just the login screen here at Block Raiders. And anything I should be looking at as I load in. I mean, I currently see that I have a balance here,
Yeah.
which is eventually going to be UPX.
Yes, eventually. Well, we're going to keep both of them because
You
we're
are
going to have a practice mode for
mm-hmm.
people to get the hang of the game before they start wagering
Okay.
UPX.
Awesome.
But yeah, right now it's only our in-game coins because
Perfect. Well,
that's also a big thing. Is you
yeah.
want to be sure the game is bug free before you allow people to spend money in it.
For
So
sure. No, that's not a question.
nope.
Being in an alpha, I wouldn't expect this to be UPX. Getting through the bugs now. Again, we're
Yeah,
3 weeks into alpha testing.
yeah,
Getting through the bugs now. The worst thing, and again, coming from the upwind ecosystem, the worst thing is when a feature goes live and all of a sudden you have 5 days worth of people saying it's not working, it's not working. It took my money. Why did I
yep.
not get anything out of the vending machine?
Yeah.
So,
So the game is using Ready Player Me for the avatars,
yep.
same as Upland. So a lot of players at Upland already have a Ready Player Me account that they're using, so they can connect it to Block Raiders directly and have their avatar all made up.
Look at the
And
hunch
then
on that, though. Ready Player Me. That's the Ready Player Me. That's not you guys, right? Because that's
no,
my back does not do that.
no.
But yeah, this is my Ready Player Me avatar. What's great about Ready Player Me is we already use Ready Player Me in Layer 1 Upland. It's integrated for characters to be in an avatars, avatars to be used as characters in 3D spaces like the cafe. So it is nice that it's that easy. It's direct integration. If you have a character or if you have a Ready Player Me avatar set up already, Pop, there it is. That's my Ready Player Me avatar right from the game of Upland. It takes 2 seconds. It's linked up, and obviously I see it here in Block Raiders as well. And one thing that you start out without and now do have, and you'd help me with, is you now have music built in and integrated. Upland is and has been a quiet game, a game without sound for quite a while, and I'm pretty glad. I'm pretty glad to have a game and actually have audio in the background. Look at that. There you go. What do you know? Makes it easy. Audio already integrated in. I do see that right now we have direct play mode. My outfit, I can go in, I can play with my avatar if I choose to do so. Rankings are obviously turned off right now or disabled.
Yeah.
The store is disabled. That will be added. The Upland link, you're obviously going to have a link back to Upland. Yeah. And just like, I don't know if you've looked at the integration yet, but I'm assuming just like any developer tool or a dev shop, you're going to have a number of spaces where people have to go to or travel to in the game in order to exchange optics with Block Raiders, right?
I honestly have no idea.
You will find out.
I will find
as
out
somebody who's
sure.
worked with layer 2 developers, you will find out. But yes, you will have a number of dev shops you'll get open in the game of Upland. As of right now, focus on the product, which will have those integrations once the product's there. Any idea as far as time frame right now, what you guys are hoping for, or is it still find the problems so you can find the solutions?
Well, right now we don't have that many problems, to be honest. It's more a matter of getting some people in, getting some feedback, making polls as to what kind of feature people want to see next in Block Raiders, so that we have a full game that's interesting and fun to play, and that will get people to come back to it. And then that's pretty much it. All the bugs were pretty much nailed down as soon as they came up. I was really on top of things for the first couple of weeks. As soon as something came up, I fixed it right away.
That's incredible. No, so if everything's cleaned up, you have a game mode.
Yes.
We'll take a quick look at that, but you have a game mode. So you're literally really trying to stack game modes, have more than one game mode, look at what tournament structure or what competition structure looks like before you go live or before you do the integration. And that's an open-ended playbook right now. So you're trying to get the game more developed so that you can, focus on those integrations sometime in the immediate future.
Yes.
I like it. Again, it is one of those things with that excuse me. It's nice to have a full functioning game. But again, we keep seeing this iterative form. I don't know if you're familiar with developing in Lean, where you go and you build that minimal version, a Lean or MVP, a minimal viable product, and you go and you build the minimal version, you put it out. You have one set of features, and then you expand upon that, and that's what you go live with. But you're trying to go with a full game, more or less, or at least feel like you have more of a game.
Yeah, of course, we're not going to wait for the game to be 100% finished, because then it would take years probably. But we want to have a bare minimum to where the game is interesting, because really the worst thing you could do is launch a game that's unfinished. And people are just going to log in, see that there's really not much to be doing in there. It's kind of boring, and they just won't come back to it. So you do not want to launch the game too quickly and lose people's interest in it.
I like that theory. That's not always been the theory in the space. In the entire blockchain. I mean, not just in Upland, but in entire blockchain space. I mean, you get these pre-launch promises, and then people are buying assets and spending money, and after they've spent all the money and bought all the assets, and then the first version of the game comes out, and people say, what am I even doing in this version? And say, no, wait, there'll be more, more, just wait 6 months. And then you wait 6 months and you get a little more. That's not the Block Raiders way, huh?
Oh no, that's not the goal here.
You know what? It's worth a year. Again, it's been a year. It's worth a year to have come from, we have this idea. Here's a video to actually having a full playable game. It wasn't something that existed a year ago. It's something that exists now. The integration can come. The integration can be something that gets built fast, but people can be playing the game. And again, the design of the game, the theory of Block Raiders was kind of as a solution or as a maybe a modification or a growth upon what was treasure hunting in the game of Upland, Layer 1 Upland, where you
Yeah.
have that integration with the map, where you are seeing the map as it's built, and where you are able to, again, competitively, earn upics or compete against others, or just experience the fun of a competitive treasure hunt. And along with that, I think that's interesting is you guys just partnered with another node where you're working on building another map in, correct?
Well, we do have an API.
Yeah.
We have a backend developer who's handling the API development for the Upland integration and
Yep.
the API that kind of pulls the map data from
Yep.
Upland so that we can keep the map up to date.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
we always have the latest changes and all that.
perfect. And I thought you were adding multiple ecosystems where you'd be adding multiple neighborhoods where people could play. Is that something that's down the line, or are you already there? Because I know
That
that.
is that is something we're aiming at
Uh-huh.
to just have people basically input in the game which neighborhood they want to play in, and have the
Uh-huh.
game just pull the data live and build the maps on the fly. But right now we have to do that kind of offline.
Yeah.
So the game isn't pulling the data. We have to do that in the Unreal editor.
Yeah. So you're not you don't have a you're not hosting an entire version of Upland at this moment where
Nope.
you're having to do a poll. I understood. I know that takes a bit
Yeah.
to run the servers where you have to essentially run a shadow of Upland's data if you want to do a live poll to build out that neighborhood. Where you say which neighborhood do you want to do. But right now, what am I going to see? I'm about to load in. What neighborhood do you know? What neighborhood are we playing in?
I believe that one's called Avalon Park.
Avalon Park. Yep.
Yeah. It was the Jacques request that
It
we
is
used
the
that
Jacques
one.
request for Avalon
So
Park. It is.
so we took a small chunk of it
Mhm.
because we didn't want the map to be too big and
Yep.
players to be lost in it. We try to keep the map as small as possible.
Oh my gosh, that was
There I am.
fast. There you are. Wow, look at that wolf costume and all.
Yeah.
Again, that was a live feed. Theoretically, anyone could have jumped into that window.
Yeah.
All right, talk me through what we're doing.
Well, the purple arrows will take you up the buildings, and you can jump off the building and hit the space bar again to fly the hoverboard, so you can pick up the coins that are flying. You can tell I don't usually talk. I'm already starting to lose my voice.
See, you picked on me for grabbing water, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, this is a talking technique. This is how we talk. and I'm playing on PC. Obviously, that's the way the game's set up right now, and I'm obviously playing with keyboard. Currently,
Yes.
you're set up with keyboard. Game controller mode's not currently set up, correct?
Yes. Not yet.
Perfect. Well, hey, I prefer people to start with keyboard. Excuse me, keyboard rather than controller because I want to be on a keyboard anyways. That's what I prefer to do. What is this? Where is that chest caught in between three buildings? And obviously, we're competing to grab some chests here.
Yes.
I'm going back up top. I'm in a circle that's obviously closing. If you're used to any type of battle royale type game, you're familiar with that circle just closing on you over time, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yes. So that's another way to keep the matches short and interesting is periodically the play area is going to get smaller, and all the chests that become outside of it respawns at random. So you could be just running around and have like 3 chests just spawn right in front of you completely randomly.
Well, if you just wait long enough, they'll just all be in this little tiny circle.
No, I fixed that.
What if you fix that?
Yeah, it doesn't shrink that much anymore. It stopped at some point.
Okay, but that was at one point it was that simple where it would come down to what maybe the equivalent of like 2 square meters, and you just wait for all the chests to pop on each other.
Yeah, we had a playtester who did that. He was alone in the game, so he flew around in the hoverboard for so long the play area got really tiny and all the chests were just stacked on top of each other.
Well, I do appreciate that. I can go out of the play area and not die, as
Yes.
opposed to all the battle royale games. So that's kind of nice. And oh, where did my chest go? Oh, you stole those chests. Okay, okay, I got to be faster. I got it. I got it. And again, again, this is something where we are competing. I've got 382 coins. We wagered 500 apiece, which essentially makes the pot 1,000. And if I get more than 500, I win, and more or less at that point, right?
Yes. Yeah, basically the whole promise of the game is you can earn more than you wagered and actually earn some UPX from playing.
Or like me, lose.
Oh yeah.
But well, it's almost like you played the game once or twice before.
Yeah. I don't know.
Almost.
It kind of looks like I made it, right?
Well, it looks good. It looks good. Uh, and again, so obviously, as far as iterative version now, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, what are we on as far as versions? I know you have gone and updated a few things over time. I know that when you and I jumped on today, I had version 4 up. He said, no, go to the launcher. Launcher is going to pull the newest version. Are
Yeah.
you updating on a daily basis? Are you updating on a weekly basis? What's the versioning right now?
It used to be on a daily basis,
Mhm.
really immediately after launch, because
Mhm.
we had bugs here and there. We had crashes from different hardware. People with really, really old laptops that aren't meant to run games. So we had lots of crashes, and so yeah, I did 2, 3 times a day, like the first 3 days, and then once a day, and now we're pretty much once a week,
Yeah.
roughly, because now all the bugs are fixed, and we're just putting in new features. So
Like those you mentioned, the coins that were sitting there in the air,
yeah,
staring me in the face.
yeah,
Those are new. So we still have 1,000 coins total. Again, the wager versus the wager, the total amount. A
yeah.
percentage of those are in chests. A percentage of those are in coins. The coins are above the ground. Had to use hoverboards to get those coins, which is pretty cool. Uh, where did the hoverboards come from? Again, you said you just surprised people with them.
Yeah.
You just always wanted a hoverboard, or what?
Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah.
love flying things.
Yeah. And so the hoverboards are in there now. This is a play mode. Obviously, this is competitive. Right now, it's 1v1. Theoretically, you could have match sizes as large as you wanted.
Yeah,
And that will be a future play mode theoretically.
yeah.
You could do tournaments.
Yes, yes.
Is that
With the
something?
ranking, we could have some stats like who earned the most UPX,
Mm-hmm.
who has the best ratio, and all that, and host tournaments and special events. Yeah,
Win loss ratio, percent accomplished, whatever the case is.
yeah.
And what else? What else are you guys envisioning or thinking, or what are you thinking as far as you mentioned you want to build out the game modes more fully?
Yeah, me personally, I just want to do whatever sounds fun. I'm used to doing some really serious games like racing
Yeah,
games and all of that, and I don't ever get to just have a little pet project like that I can just have fun with and not take too seriously, like
yeah,
just putting in hoverboards and wolf costumes because it sounds fun, right? No real reason.
yeah.
And I've been messing with a kind of a melee fighting system for a couple days, and I've been pitching the Jacques with the idea that people could fight each other with like pool noodles, and whenever they
you
would
know,
hit each other, they would kind of
Mhm.
just bounce around a little bit and drop a few coins that the other player could pick up.
So I think you'll get away with pool noodles with the Jacques.
Yeah.
She's talked. She's already had some very strong feelings about what not to do with block
Yes.
raiders when it comes to melee or animated violence. But I
Yeah.
like pool noodles. I think
Yeah.
she can agree with pool noodles.
We uh we were having fun with the idea of maybe having a water gun that could
Oh yeah,
shoot bubbles so that players would be trapped in bubbles and just float for a couple seconds to kind of
yeah,
immobilize the players. Because we had 7 people in one game,
yeah,
and everybody, it is chaos. It is ridiculous. There's people running everywhere,
yeah.
and you're going for a chest. You see somebody right next to you going for it too. You don't really know who's gonna get to it first. Shall I just give up and go for another one? And
Or do you
if you
use your
add
special? Yeah,
exactly, if you add the pool noodles, you can just kind of
get out of
shove
my
them out
way.
of the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pool noodle, or yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. I like,
in a
or you
very
could
gently,
in
PG
a
manner.
very gentle way. Or I mean, we're gonna go Mario Kart with this or something. You can roll that turtle shell, knock him around.
Yeah,
I
throwing
like.
banana peels around to see people do some backflips on them.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love
Oh
it. I
yeah,
love it.
we're just aiming to have fun with it and give everybody a good time and a competitive gameplay as well. That isn't too serious, you know.
Yeah, and I like that because again, we're talking right now a very short gameplay. What's the target? 3 minutes, if that.
Roughly, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Now,
So
of course, the more players are in, the bigger the play area
yeah.
because the more chests are spawning.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's just two of us, the map is pretty small. When
Mm-hmm.
you play with 10 people, it gets a lot bigger, so it's not so crowded.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do aim to keep the matches short, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't want this to be dragging on and becoming like a second job, you know. We want some short, intense little matches that you can, play in your lunch break on your
Yeah.
phone eventually. And
And if your play pool is large enough, I mean, theoretically, if the player pool is large enough, almost any time, jump on, wait in a lobby for 40 seconds or a minute and a half and jump
yep,
into a match.
yeah, that's the goal.
Yep.
Also, there's the whole social features with your
Mm-hmm.
Epic account, and also eventually with your Upland account, where you can just send your friend invites, your
Mm-hmm.
friend invites.
Do
So
you want?
if there's nobody playing or whatever, you just send a bunch of invites and see who bites, and have
Mm,
fun with your friends.
do you want to join this match? Match starts at whatever time, and then you send them out through, which is new in Upland. You send them out through your feed, and or you can put it out on your feed. Hey, who wants to jump in this match? Which is again a new feature in Upland, but yeah, it is a direct social integration. And again, looking at this home screen here, obviously, um, I do see the coins in the corner. You said at some point, these will be at this point they're not even real, right? This is all just for play test. But at
Yeah,
some
those are
point,
just number in a database. They're not worth anything. You can't buy them. You can't even run out of them.
well, I know that's what I mean. They're just all for show because
Yep.
it just puts me back at 500.
Yep.
Theoretically, I was at 500. I lost. I ended up with 362, which
Yep.
was going to be what I would have in my balance now. But they're just to get us started and jumped in. But eventually, you'll have this. Eventually, you'll potentially have a UPX balance where you can put UPX in the game and then go into different
Yep.
staking. And when you jump into a match here, like I go to create a match, theoretically you'll be able to go in and set different wager amounts and
Yes.
it could be something that if once somebody has a different level of play choice as far as wager amounts, are you thinking about setting up leveling and ranking and things of that nature, or is that outside the immediate or long-term plays? Yeah, long-term plans.
We are kind of investigating a way that we could level up players
Mm-hmm,
through winning matches, giving
mm-hmm,
them some perks, but we don't want to make it unfair for new players either,
mm-hmm.
because again, people are going to be playing for money. So
Well, that's the thing about the new player thing is
you
is
you don't want to
yeah,
discourage the new players.
yeah,
You want to encourage people to play, but not discourage newcomers.
yeah.
So we have to be careful again about that. And but we do want maybe different outfits,
Mm-hmm.
different things, but we'll
above and
see.
beyond above and beyond what's currently available with Ready Player Mean, you mean having your own outfits,
Oh yeah,
block raiders exclusive, etc., etc.
for sure, yeah.
I like that. You,
And
you get
maybe
that.
those could be unlocked with your experience points, and instead of having to buy them with money or UPX, you could just unlock them through playing the game. That's one of the idea we've been kind of throwing around. So
Is that the theory with the store? Is can I get a digital good with my whatever in-game points? That's kind of the thought there?
yeah,
I like it. I like it. So as you continue to work with the team here, and more than anything, build the project out. What are you guys looking forward to? What are you looking to? Let's leave that personal. What are you looking forward to as far as features that you want to bring in? I know you said hoverboard is something you brought in for the fun of it. You mentioned the competitive play. I mean, do you want? I mean, you just already kind of alluded at vehicles. Is that something on the horizon? Is that something that has been discussed?
I'd love to. If we can get the maps big enough, I would love to have vehicles. Of course, Upland has guidelines that we have to respect.
Mhm.
and so everything we do, we have to run through them first.
Mhm.
So vehicles, go-karts, it's a bit of
I,
a touchy subject, but
it, it
it
is.
would be fun.
It is. It is a touchy subject because they already have their own playthrough.
Yeah,
The question is it competitive or is it something that is going to add to or enhance the space? Have
yeah.
you looked at the possibility of trying to use upland assets, or is that something that's been discussed already, or is that still
Nah,
no?
you're thinking too far ahead right now.
I'm thinking too far ahead. Where are you thinking? What you're thinking is to. I mean, you've already made everything work, right?
Yeah,
There's not major bugs. That's not happening. Sometimes when you add features, they can add bugs. We know that
yeah,
it's pretty common. But as of today, not having major bugs issues, you're more worried about adding features.
yes.
You're more worried about what's next of it all. What do you have to see? What do you have to build out before we worry about integration? Is it the next three play modes? Is it having 50 people or 100 people add to the play test?
I don't know, honestly. I guess we'll just have to go with the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just have to see how many people hop on board and what's the demand for it and release it when it feels right, I guess. We don't really have a time frame, or
Mm-hmm.
we're just really hoping people are going to jump on board and give us a bunch of crazy ideas that we can have fun with and put into the game.
Great. And
Then
you
when we have
mentioned
a solid player base, then upline integration and just go live with it, and there it is.
I love it, and again, the energy of what you're kind of putting out with this concept of, oh yeah, we had a bug report and I fixed it that day, so we didn't have bugs anymore. And then the next day I had a bug report, so I fixed it, and the next day we didn't have any bugs anymore.
Yeah.
Um, with that energy, I don't think there's going to be an issue with the integration. So
Oh
you're
no.
worried about making the game work, and then you don't have to wait 6 months on an integration, and then you'll wake up the next day, find out the 7 things you need to do with that for the integration, and be done with it in 3 days probably. Which again, I think that's realistic and definitely possible for you, and I appreciate that. That's how you've handled this project so far.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I'm going to rewind a little bit. So you said you'd already known Slav. He had kind of picked your brain about Unreal, kind of one of the reasons why he went that direction, or why he kind of brought the project towards that direction. Unreal. What was it like, being called in? What was that conversation when Slav said, "Hey, come in. We want you in the project." I know, Dejak was integral. There's a couple other partners, but I mean, what was that like coming in and starting to work with this new group and establishing the plans and what you could do? And again, when did the hoverboards come in?
The hoverboards came in right after the map. Basically, as
Mm,
soon as I saw the buildings, I was like, "Yep, I want to climb those. I want to do something with those." That was like my first thought, my first
yeah,
little touch in the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
But no, for those of you who ever met Slav or talked to him, he's like this crazy, crazy ball of energy. He's just bouncing around everywhere, hyping everybody up. And so he's just like, "Hey, you got to jump on board, you know?" And yeah, he pretty much sold me to everybody in the team, and they still didn't know which game engine they wanted to use and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
The team was entirely backend developers,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and so they didn't know which game engine to use, what kind of game they wanted to do. They didn't really
Mm-hmm.
have any ideas, and neither did I. So we just had to kind of brainstorm and figure out what we want. Like you said, the Jacques had some pretty strict rules for uh,
What she
keeping
wanted,
it
what she didn't
PG.
want. Yeah, yeah,
So we had to pick her brain a little bit to figure out what kind of game she envisioned, and
yeah,
see what we could do if it was realistic and if I could deliver before they
yeah.
took me on board. So
Well, you delivered.
I
Again,
think so, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so because the number one is when we first started the Alpha Zero. The thing that I saw first, I was ready for is, you know, What do collisions look like? Is there an issue with glitching on the spacing of the structures? Is there margins? I'm looking at all these things, and that's coming from working in alphas and being in playtest, and there was none of those issues like day one. There was no running into a false wall. There was no glitching halfway through a building.
Nope.
I think these are all important things, and again, it's
Yeah.
not always right the first time.
Yeah, no, we did a whole lot of playtesting
Mhm.
internally, all of us, me, Slav, Jacques, together, even a friend of mine over the internet. So,
Yeah.
when we launched the alpha, we knew the game was solid.
Mhm.
At least on our computers, we all have
Yeah.
gaming computers, so
Yeah.
performance aren't an issue for us.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, came the laptops and Microsoft Surface and
Yeah.
all of those little things. So
Yeah.
the first thing I saw, and I was like, what the hell? Everybody got fatal error within like 5 seconds of being in the main menu.
When was
I was
that?
like, where does that even come from? There's not even an error message.
Yeah.
There's no log. There's nothing. It's just fatal error and it closes. And I have no idea why.
And
I
that
was
was
like,
just the first instance, and you had to hunt
yep,
it down, or
yep. I was like, okay, that's it. I have no idea what's happening. Then I had to, ask a bunch of questions. What kind of computer are you running this on?
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
And,
I was
and,
pretty
and
relieved when I fixed that.
Yeah, and you find out you're running redundant code or something, and now you're crashing somebody's non gaming based computer, or a computer that is using an integrated graphics card or something silly like that.
Yeah, the Unreal Engine 5 is really meant to be making AAA quality games.
Yeah,
So when you make little tiny simple things like that, they tend to
yeah,
be a bit overkill and you have to do a lot of optimization for
yeah,
older computers to be able to run them. Even though it looks like nothing,
yeah,
you're still running the Unreal Engine 5, so
yeah.
I had to
What?
cut a lot of things from it to make it lighter.
Well, it's like 4K. I mean, how much different does 4K really look than 1080? But the graphical processing is incredibly different.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
Yeah, for the
So
little bit of quality you're getting out of it, it's
yeah,
just yeah. So it's one of those instances where you just had to play it on a computer that wasn't meant for gaming and see how it would do,
yeah,
which is an important step as well because we're
yeah.
going to release it on the Android and iOS. So
It really has to be optimized by by the
yeah,
time
so
it's
we
on.
we started working toward that already
Yeah,
right from the start, keeping in mind we have to keep the game lightweight and
yeah,
so
yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna say my 8 gig phone. That's not the same as my 64 gig computer, right? It's we've got different processing here, and again, a dedicated graphics card on my computer not going to be the same
yeah,
thing when I get to my Android.
yeah,
Yeah. So no, I appreciate again the amount of effort and time and thought you put in before it hit the alpha. Because again,
yeah,
I've seen so many games fall flat when you hit the alpha, and you're like, oh, we're gonna pull it back for 3 weeks, and now we're gonna bring out. Oh, thanks for doing the 3-day play test. We'll be back in a month, and that's not where we are right now.
no,
No. So I'm at the Block Raiders Discord. This is where people should be, jumping in, hanging out if they're trying to see, versioning and features and announcements, discussion, what's coming up next.
yeah, yeah. That's the space to be if you have any interest in Block Raiders. That's where it's happening.
Okay, so Block Raiders, right now, let me see if I can do this. Oh, why not? I'll do that later. I was gonna say I was gonna make a quick invite. Hey, look at this. And I want to go copy this, edit invite. I'm gonna make it forever. You play a lot in Discord? Never.
Yeah,
All right, good.
yeah. I spent quite a bit of time on Discord.
Excellent. There we go. Watch this. There. There. I'm gonna make people have to write stuff down. There you go. There's your Discord link. Oh, look at that. Again, I could make that a clickable link. I could put it down in show notes. We'll see. We'll see if I do that. But there it is. Write it down. Quick, fast. Link to the invite to the Discord again. I did put up and the open, or I said open, the closed alpha. Again, you do have to apply, and
Yeah.
everybody's being brought in so long as they meet the requirements. AKA, it is on PC right now.
Yeah.
That's open for people to go and apply for. You can go directly to the Discord. If you get into the Discord, you'll see that there is registration open for the closed alpha 1.1. And we're 1.1 because 0 was before Genesis
Yeah.
Live. 1 was the short period during Genesis Live, and then
Yeah.
1.1 is everything that comes after. And 1.1, by the time you hit 1.1, that's you're not even finding bugs right anymore, right? 1.1 is actually the how do I expand features? How do I drop coins in the
Yeah.
air for people to catch with their hoverboard? What do people want next? When's the pool noodle coming in? That type of feature adjustment, right?
That's probably the next thing I'm gonna do. Pool
Is the
noodle.
pool noodle? Pool
Oh
noodle.
yeah.
Pool noodle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm feeling
pool noodle,
inspired.
or little like water balloons filled with glue, and it slows someone down for a second and a half. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean these are but technically, I mean you there's a lot you have to do for the conditional physics where you have a cut a period of time where you have a change in physics, right?
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yeah, especially in a multiplayer game, because
Mhm.
all of that has to be replicated over the network properly so that everybody sees the same thing, especially in a competitive game. So the more you mess with physics, the more complex it gets. But
And then you worry about is it stackable, and there
yeah,
there goes our lightweight game because now we have stackable physics vectors, and you're like, oh no, this is happening and this is happening, and now this guy hit him with the pool noodle and he's already sitting in a pile of glue. What happens next? So, again, I do appreciate the fact that you are thinking about the how do I add this? How do we make a full game? What can people do to help? Because again, I kind of mentioned that the alphas are here. We
yeah.
mentioned that the Discord's there. What type of feedback are you looking for other than I got a bug? What else do you want to hear about? What can people do to help make this project, again, a more full featured game?
Right. Well, the bug reports, as annoying as they are crucial.
Mhm.
I want these if there are any, which
Yeah,
I can't think of any anymore, but
yeah.
I do want these. So,
Mhm.
but what I really hope for is for people to start playing and
Mhm.
get excited about it and be like, "Oh, that would be so cool to have that feature in there."
Mhm. Again, I do appreciate the fact that you're being so accessible on it. You're still doing this daily, right? Where there's an issue, poof, go take care of the issue.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to see this feature. Maybe that feature's there in 2 weeks, right? It seems like you are spending or you're doing turnaround that's not that quick, anyways. It's not like it goes to a committee and they're like, let's go do a focus group. Do people like turtles? No, people don't like turtles. Okay, we found one person likes turtles, and then you have that feature 6 months later with the pool noodle.
Yeah. Nah. No, we like to move quickly and
Agile. See, you don't even
yeah.
know you're agile. No. Yeah. Be quick. Bring in. Add those features. You're just not pushing forward a game and calling it, fully ready to play. You're not putting it out there and integrating it with Upland until you feel that there's enough of a game where people are going to have some depth and breadth and be able to play for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and I guess on my side, I want to thank you because this is something that I've been looking forward to for. I've been looking for a lot of things for a couple of years in Upland, but a game that focuses on being a game first, wants to be a game, wants to be playable, wants to have replay value, wants to have um, more than just a moderate, version of gameplay that actually wants to have something that is both compelling and functional. You're not constantly worried about bugs or errors or glitches or did I hit the corner and now I kind of skittered a little bit, and that's part of iterative. That's part of growing. But that is a reality of some of the gameplay that we see in Upland Layer 1 and Layer 2. And I think that, a dedication to getting those bugs out before you put it out to the public, before you bring those, bring the UPX staking in, but before you start having people compete. I really appreciate that level of focus and that that concept, because that's a concept that, like I said, does not exist in the blockchain space quite enough, or quite as much as it should.
Yeah. Well, even in traditional gaming, it's kind of a slippery slope. Lots of big companies fall for that too. Not enough beta testing and all that, but it is especially true for blockchains.
Speaking of beta, 7 days is coming out of alpha into beta. You know how long that took?
Oh wow,
10 years.
7 days to
10
die.
years.
Huh?
Yeah, 2014, 2024, 10 years to get there. But
Dang.
I'm excited. I'm excited. But Block Raiders is not going to be 10 years in alpha. Huh?
Oh no.
No, no,
No
no.
way.
No. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I just want to delve into two real real topics. And then thank you for your time, because again, I appreciate it. I think I didn't give you a hard end, but again, I think an hour is a lot for me to ask. But just looking at the blockchain of it all, what is your experience? Have you done some research on the blockchain side of things once you do have the integrations, or is that entirely new to you at this point?
I wouldn't say entirely new,
Mhm.
but I'm definitely pretty new to the space.
Okay.
Uh, I've been around maybe less than a year
Yeah.
with the concept of blockchains and
Mhm.
cryptocurrencies and all that. I haven't really dived too deep into it, to be honest. I'm more of a gameplay programmer,
Yep.
so I don't worry so much about the technical aspect. And
Well,
yeah, no,
there's the front end versus the back end, right? And then
yeah,
I guess blockchain integrations, API calls for blockchain, those are usually back end, and you've got some
yeah,
back enders on the team, anyways.
yeah.
All
And
right.
there's only so many hours in a day and so many days in a week, so I focus on what I do best, which is the gameplay. So
Well, let them do the blockchain. I mean, I guess that's all
exactly,
that matters, right? Is that there's somebody on the team who's going to make sure that when you put whatever, when you stake or when you wager 1,500 UPX, it actually gets to block raiders. And
yeah,
when you wager 1,500 UPX and it says the prize is 2,200 UPX, you actually get those 2,200 UPX back.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's not always as easily done as it is said when we talk about blockchain integrations, but I like the fact that you're like, oh, let's make sure the game is compelling before we worry too much about that. Like I said, you've got other people in the team who develop more on that back end side of things.
yeah. And
Right.
it's giving them time at the same time to develop that back end to be bulletproof, to be
Mm-hmm.
safe, to work properly, and on the front end, I'm doing some shiny, pretty stuff to show people while I'm buying them some time to work in the background too. So
So you guys aren't siloed necessarily, but you are running as running different development teams more or less at this point, or different development priorities, anyways.
yeah,
Where the back end's being developed, the back end's being made more robust. The preparations for API integration, which again is already we just saw Avalon Park. So the API integration for data call for asset, which is the structures are all assets for asset call. That's all there. The
yeah,
fidelity looks great. Your graphics, your graphic interpretation of Upland's graphics are great. So that's all working between the back end and the front end. So
yeah,
I do appreciate that you already have that going for you. But you said that's something that they continue to work on. You're continuing to add the front end features, the pool noodles or the glue, or this is just telling you right now to add it. I mean, it just came from the viscera. Don't worry about where it came from. But little hedgehogs running around, and you can't run to the hedgehog because now you're gonna be slow for a little bit because you got picked by a hedgehog. That type of thing.
yeah,
Where we're adding the next iterative feature, and again, just make it more compelling as we go. And who knows, if people hate the hedgehogs, you take the hedgehogs out of the game before you put it on staking, right?
yeah.
All right.
That's the whole point of having alpha and beta testing. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That you end up at the end with the best version of the game that you possibly can have. And by the time people open their wallets to play or stake or are going to, and I keep saying stake, I know you haven't mentioned it yet, but there are other integrations of currency, which go beyond UpX that could be kind of integrated there. I don't know if you've heard or heard the back end at all about the potential of doing Spark staking or Sparklet staking in the future, or I don't know if that's even off the table at this point for you guys. No?
I don't think we've discussed any of that so far. We're still aiming for the UpX as a
Yep.
first, and
Yep.
then if anything else, that'll be added afterward.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
we like to have our priorities in order, like you said,
yeah.
have a fully functional game, then add some features to it.
Have
again,
wagering. Yep.
Yeah. And then we'll just build from there.
Love it. And then as far as what to expect from your interactions, again, I brought this up and say it in a minimal way, and we'll be straightforward with it. You come into Upland because of this game. You've interacted with Upland enough that you could understand the platform that exists and all that. Is this a space that you've put a decent amount of time into Block Raiders? As far as I'm concerned, dealing with bugs on a daily basis, that's a ton of commitment. Is this a space where we're going to continue to see different projects you're jumping into, or is Block Raiders a fun project and you're going to keep your eyes out on the greater world and greater space as you continue to work with Unreal?
I don't know. Upland is kind of an interesting platform.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of possibilities, lots of game modes you can do, lots of things, really. It's kind of a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
And there's a huge community behind it, lots of super nice people, events, and all of that. I feel like it's a really, really nice space to evolve into. So I'll be sticking around for sure. Not just for Block Raiders.
I love it. Well, Block Raiders, from what you're telling me, I mean, there's a whole arc here with Block Raiders, but I mean, by the time people are competing on their hoverboards, coming down, trying to scoop up these coins in the air, jump to the ground, run after a chest, watch out for the hedgehogs, hit each other with pool noodles. There's going to be a lot of game there. And again, the idea of having multiple play modes, I think that this is not a 6 months and done project. So I really appreciate what you brought into it. I'm looking forward to the future for you guys.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah. And with that, again, like I said, I try to be respectful of time, and I'm looking at the hour on the clock. Anything else? What do you want to tell us about Math, or what do you want to look forward to as far as anything that you're doing here? Anything that you're doing here. What do you want to tell people? What do you want people to know?
Really, the only thing I got to say now to wrap this up is join the Discord, come talk to us, enjoy the game.
Math loves.
That's all I want.
Send him bug reports, left, right, and center.
I just want people to enjoy my work, so come play the game, have fun with it. Let's build something awesome together.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, feedback and ideas. Where's our bug report? There needs to be a bug report channel in here. Where is it?
Oh, it's probably a sub channel somewhere in the closed alpha.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the Shock removed it again by accident. She does that sometimes.
She takes away the bug report. No, that's not by accident. She just doesn't want to have to deal with them bugs. No. It is important in alpha to have that openness. I really appreciate that you guys do. Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's not your baby alone, but I really appreciate what you've brought to it. The focus on Unreal, the experience, and again, it's not that it's not a common mentality, but I very much appreciate your mentality of why would I put this game forward if it's not robust, if it's not compelling, if I don't have options, if I don't have those 3 play modes that people actually want to engage with. So I appreciate all that you're bringing to the group, and looking forward to you continue to do so.
All right. Thanks for inviting me, and it was it's time for me to stop talking. I don't usually talk that much, so.
See, that's what the water's for. That's what he gives me crap about having a water, but that's what the water's for. Again, thank you so much, Matt. Looking forward to all the things that are coming forward here, moving forward with Block Raiders, and of course, as of today, I'm going to sign off. However, I put this out, more than likely, I'm going to get a live. Put this out live, and we'll watch it all together. Any questions that you do want to put together, you can get into Block Raiders Discord. You can send those questions in. There is a feedback channel. There's plenty of ways to get involved. If you have questions, you weren't able to get involved, get into the alpha, you got questions. Anybody else for support, or is there a direct way to shoot your message, or they should blow up DMs for Dejak or anything else people can look forward to or look at for communication for you guys?
If you're gonna blow up some messages somewhere, might as well do that on Discord server. My
Yeah,
private messages are quite messy,
there you go.
so if you
There you
send
go.
them directly to me, I'm not gonna see them.
Easy enough.
So
Blow
your
up the
best bet is to have them
blow up the
posted
server.
there,
Yeah, blow up the
and
server. Crash it. Just too many people. Just crash the
please
server.
do it.
Make them boost it more just to take care of it all. Yeah. So thank you again so much. Looking forward to more to come, and everybody watching, again, looking forward to more coming from Block Raiders. If you do have more questions, jump into the Discord, ask those questions, and it sounds like you can get some answers. Thank you guys so much, and as we continue to focus on more developers, more layer 2, we continue to look at what can be the future of Upland, and Block Raiders is very much part of it. Thank you much, and let's do this again.
All right.
Yes. Okay. We're gonna do this again after we get hedgehogs. Done deal.
I'll do that for you. I'll be
Awesome.
sure to give you a shout out in the game too.
There we go. Thanks, Matt.
All right. See you around.
All right, good to get this out of the way. Obviously, I was excited to be able to have, and I'm going to get this out of the way here, but excited to be able to have the conversation with Math from Block Raiders. I dropped in a couple links in along the way. First and foremost, if you want to get in and get some more information on developing for Unreal, I would love to see more Unreal development for Upland. Obviously, there's other platforms, a lot of other platforms that are easier to get into. They take less experience. They take some less education to get in and be successful with than Unreal, but there are a lot of extra opportunities in Unreal as far as the level of development and graphics and lighting packages, and really does put out a really high quality game. So if there's people in Upland are going to get more and more into the development side on Unreal, it'd be a great opportunity to take a look at Matt's videos that he has out there. Have nothing to do with Upland. A lot of vehicles, a lot of cars, a lot of graphics on cars that would make the Upland cars look a little like they could talk to Matt for a little more insight on how to design beautiful looking cars for Unreal anyways. So that link, easy enough to get to. The YouTube link, I did put it in comments here. Math B on the channel name Math B on YouTube if you want to go and take a look there. Otherwise, get into Block Raiders. I did drop in a couple times. Eat hedgehogs. No eating hedgehogs. That's not an option. Agency can't do it. But there, I did drop in a couple times the link to get into Block Raiders. The open form is out now. Again, if you want to go and apply on the open form to be a alpha tester, keep in mind everyone gets into the alpha testing. The reason why it's a closed test is because you have to fill out the form so that they can send you the information so that you can, again, essentially agree to what you're doing with the alpha test. And I don't know if there was a serious NDA there, but I know that I agreed to what I had to agree to be part of the alpha test. And as long as you go through and you do those pieces, you get access to the game. Right now, there is a large enough number of people playing that there's times of days you can find people to play against. You can obviously play solo, and of course, if you know more than one person who's playing, you can talk to those people, coordinate, and do playthroughs together competitively. Hunt for the treasure, and again, maybe win, maybe lose, but at least it's not for stakes now, so you're not losing any epics along the way. As I mentioned in the interview itself, continue to work with layer 2 developers to bring forward their projects. More interviews to come. There's a couple projects that I've been trying to nail down times with some of the people who are big in those projects. We're working on developing those projects. There's Tit anyways. Speaking of which, but there are a bunch of projects that it's nice to do status checks on, see what's happening, especially if you haven't heard on these projects from literally a year, and that we're actually able to get people involved and see what's coming forward with the game. And getting an alpha test means it's not an integrated into Upland now, but you get to play the game as it's built, and of course, be prepared for when that game does come into the game of Upland, and maybe, just maybe, have a little fun along the way. As always, Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT, getting together here in the Upland Cafe. Not right now. In the Upland Cafe, generally, in Discord, there, and on YouTube, on Twitter, and in the Upland Plaza, Tuesdays and Fridays. And for tonight, thank you so much for being here. As always, is after show ability to go and talk if you choose to do so, and meet your mics. Jump in to the Upland Cafe Discord if you want to meet there. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. We'll do this again tomorrow. Hopefully more news in the game of Upland as things all go smoothly here with a Sparklet transition. Thank you. Take care. Good night.